Hi, my name's Fiona. I normally work at Southbourne Library, and I'd like to share with you today a story which I've written, which is based in one of our BCP libraries. Can you guess which one? It feels quite nostalgic reading this story, as many of the services and activities we're not able to provide at the moment, but we really look forward to getting back to all those when it's safe to do so. And this story is called Evie at the Library. Monday was Evie's least favourite day at the library. Curled up with a book on her favourite chair, she couldn't avoid being disturbed by the high-pitched wailing of babies and the loud, jolly singing coming from the wriggle and rhyme sessions. Evie had tried complaining about the noise levels, but her protests had been ignored. It was true that it was only an hour a week, a small proportion of her overall time spent in the library, and the babies and parents seemed to get a lot out of it, but it did make it rather hard to relax. On Tuesdays, she often tried to help with the computer class, but the volunteering student said she was just getting in the way, so she would retreat back to her chair. A hard stare would move on any upstarts who didn't realise it was her rightful chair and had grabbed it in her absence. In the winter, the library provided a cosy haven, as her chair was situated next to a radiator, and in summer its position in a shady corner made it cool, perfect for taking some time out. On Wednesdays, the library was officially closed to the public, but Evie didn't follow rules and knew she could sneak in when the local police men and women entered to take their well-earned cup of tea in the staff room. Sometimes there was a yoga class on, and Evie watched amazed. They all seemed much more relaxed by the end, but Evie couldn't quite work out how attempting to make weird shapes with their bodies made that happen. She found lounging around or taking regular naps a perfectly effective way to relax. Thursdays were Evie's best day, when the knit and natter group met. The balls of wool were colourful, and the ways the flashing needles followed patterns to form all sorts of shapes of material was fascinating. Evie didn't knit, but she helped out with the unwinding of the wool. One Thursday she had tried out the poetry group, but it was all a bit too highbrow and intellectual for her. She couldn't understand a thing. Her personal special interests were comedy poems about fish, of which there were a surprising number to be found if you spent enough time with the thousands of free books available at the library, which Evie did. Friday was usually a quiet day, with no events on. Sometimes Evie listened in to the library staff as they helped people and answered inquiries. She always learnt a lot from that. This Friday Evie overheard one lady say, "They'll be after the meaning of the universe next," with a giggle. The other lady behind the desk replied, "Well, we know that's 42, don't we?" And they both laughed. Evie wasn't sure how they worked that one out, but as the staff usually knew the answers to every question, or where to find the answer, or if not, then someone who would know, she guessed they must be right. She filed 42 away for reference, never knowing when it might come in handy. Sundays the library was closed, and Evie had to stay bored and lonely at home. So she made the most of Saturdays, when the library was bustling busy and full of interesting people to watch. There were those who worked weekdays, taking out and returning books at the self-service machines, lots of families with children, and the older people who had more time to stop and react with her. In the summers, there were great excitement from the children doing the holiday reading game, as they recounted their books read and collected their prizes. As the library closed up on Saturdays, Evie knew her favourite library assistant would bring her a treat in return for a hard week's work. As soon as she saw her bend down and get out the treat from behind the counter, Evie would trot over, tail held high, purring, and wind around her legs. "Meow," Evie would say, as Sarah stroked her beautiful orange, black and white coat. And Sarah would always say, "Well, you shouldn't be in here really, but who can resist such a gorgeous and well-behaved little cat?" Did you guess the library? It was Westbourne. And just to clarify, only official assistance animals are allowed in the library. I'd like to dedicate this story to real life Evie, my inspiration for writing, and a lovely cat who unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago.